Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a news edition. These are the headlines. The beginning of the voting operation for mobile polling centers in the rural regions, as well as the south and the far south of the country, in very good conditions. The national community abroad continues to fulfill its electoral duty and affirms its presence during every national occasion. As part of the Algeria-Qatar cooperation, the works of the first phase of the cattle breeding and dry milk production project start in Adrar. Welcome back. This Wednesday witnessed the start of the voting operation in the mobile offices in the south of the country. 51 municipalities spread over 16 provinces are concerned. This will facilitate the operation for nomadic populations and in remote regions where more than 116,000 voters are registered through 134 offices. We'll take stock in Tamnaraset, Elizi and Tindouf with Daniel Bahri.
Voters from grey zones of the southern provinces of the country began to flock to the mobile polling stations to exercise their right to vote in 72 hours in advance as acquired by the law. The polling of nomadic populations began in good conditions, particularly in Elizi, where 9 mobile polling stations were deployed. This morning, polling station number 15 moved to Wadihan, Tanarin, Imswan and Takhamalt. More than 11,100 voters are distributed over the 9 mobile polling stations deployed in Elizi. The delegation of the ANI at the level of the southern provinces affirmed that all the human and material resources were gathered to guarantee the smooth running of the operation. Today, polling station number 15 took to the road as part of the system covering the southern provinces of the country. Everything has put in place to ensure the smooth running of the operation. We will cover all the remote regions of the extreme south of the country in order to allow all Algerians to vote. A similar atmosphere reigns in all the municipalities of En Amenas province, from Borja Omar Dris to the administrative district of Dibdab. The nomadic populations express their aspiration to continue the development of the country under the slogan Together for Algeria. Heading to the mobile polling station number 8 in the region of Izernan in Tamnaras province, where 29 mobile polling stations have been deployed. This morning, Abdullah came to vote, wanting to exercise his right, but above all, to fulfill a duty. We were able to fulfill our duty thanks to the mobile office. During the morning, more than 800 voters went to the polls. All the human and material conditions were met to allow them to fulfill their constitutional duty with complete peace of mind, considering voting as an absolute priority. Despite all the difficulties, the local population is keen to fulfill their electoral duty and has started to go to the polling stations. Assessors' teams have been deployed to manage the operation at the mobile offices. Moreover, observers and representatives of the 3 candidates for the presidential election are closely monitoring the progress of the operation.
On this third day of voting for the Algerian community in France, the diaspora continues to head to the polling stations, reaching thousands of voters recorded until now. Afaf Belhoushat and Najah Tiyar.
The Algerian Consulate General in Créteil, one of the consular districts with a large Algerian community in France, has registered 16,000 Algerian subscribers for voting, and delocalizing polling stations which have been set up to facilitate voting allowed a significant portion of these subscribers to be present. The latter admit the foolproof organization and the warm welcome they received. They were all joyful and smiling welcoming us. They spared no effort assisting us. The organization is perfect. We were very well welcomed. In the Algerian consulate in Paris, a lofty move marked the election's third day. The parents this time chose to bring their kids with them to teach them their duties towards their country and to solidify their patriotism. I wanted my son with me while I'm voting so that he learns to be attached to his country as we are. In Isère, the Algerian community was also strongly mobilized, with no fewer than 57,000 Algerians registered to vote. For that, 21 officers were deployed, and the conditions were optimal, much to the satisfaction of the Algerian diaspora. We aspire that our country becomes one of the best in the world. In Lyon, the polling station was crowded as the previous 2 days, with all ages, all driven by the same emotion. We always try to contribute to our country's development and a better future. That's why we make sure to take part in voting. In Tourcoing and its surroundings, the members of the national community continue showing their commitment and genuine satisfaction by going to the polling stations. I came to vote for the best president. I've been here in France for 62 years. Still, I never abandoned my duties towards my country. I'll stay Algerian till the last minute. To Valenciennes, many of the polling stations set up keep receiving the Algerians gathering to perform their electoral duties, aspiring for a better Algeria.
In the Arab countries, the Algerians keep reaching out to the Algerian consulate to cast their ballots, believing in the necessity of making their voices count in these presidential elections. Najah Tayyar once again.
The members of our national community settled in Tunisia continue to flock to the polling stations to cast their votes and participate strongly in these presidential elections. And in Egypt prevails the same atmosphere of hope for a more prosperous Algeria. I am present in every election to vote. I hope for the best to our homeland. I came to participate in these crucial elections. We aspire that Algeria remains always sovereign and on the top. The consulate here always facilitates all the procedures for us, including the vote in which I came for today. We hope Algeria keeps always improving. The Algerian expatriates in Jordan and Lebanon turned out in impressive numbers as well at the polling stations, showing the depth of their awareness and strong connections to their homeland.
The Office of the Council of the Nation welcomed the democratic practice that marked the electoral campaign within a framework that ensured freedom of speech and the promotion of the electoral programs, thus offering an opportunity and a vision for a victorious Algeria. It also hailed the patriotism and sense of responsibility demonstrated by the three candidates, showing respect for the nation's fundamental principles, the laws of the Republic, and the foundation of democracy. The Office of the Council of the Nation called on the Algerians to turn out massively and vote for the candidate they deem the best. The Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi chaired a meeting of the government devoted to the examination of a draft executive decree relating to the restructuring of the National Institute of Higher Training for Youth and Sports Executives. The government examined the various measures taken to reduce pressure on the ports, to ensure efficient processing of containers, and to reduce the financial impact resulting from long waiting times of ships stuck in ports, particularly the digitization of procedures and strengthening the coordination between the different stakeholders. The government also examines two draft executive decrees renewing licenses for the establishment and exploitation of electronic communication networks. As part of the proactive measures to deal with the consequences of bad weather, the government reviewed the measures taken and those to be implemented. Finally, the government reviewed the procedures and measures taken by the sectors concerned as part of the preparations for the start of the social year in its various aspects. Cooperation now. During a dinner organized by the President of China in honor of the Presidents of the delegations taking part in the 4th China-Africa Summit, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, held talks with presidents of brotherly African countries, to which he conveyed the greetings of the President of the Republic and his success wishes. Ahmed Attaf met the President of the Brotherly Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Mohamed Ould El Ghazouani. It was the occasion to review the cooperation relations marked by the intentions of the presidents of the two countries to develop these relations and reach the highest level possible. As part of his bilateral meetings during the China-Africa Summit, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, held talks with the Mauritanian Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Mohamed Salem Ould El Merzoug. Ahmed Attaf also met the Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, Ma Jiaochu, to review the relations between Algeria and China in order to strengthen them. The Algerian-Qatari project Baladna enters in its first phase, spread over 117,000 hectares area in Adrar. This establishment will meet 50% of the national milk powder needs. Mohamed Amin Boutouni and Amir Al-Bahri.
The launch of the proceedings of the first phase of one of the largest strategic projects in the sector of agriculture in Algeria has started. It is the integrated Algerian-Qatari project for the production of powdered milk, which covers an area of 117 hectares in the municipality of Tamaktan in Adrar province. It involves prospecting work of the construction of exploratory wells before the development of a study on the nature of groundwater. The fluidity that characterized the implementation of the partnership agreement between the stockholders of the project signed last April reaffirmed the importance that the country's senior authorities attach to the promotion of investments aimed at meeting national needs in widely consumed products and reducing the import bill. This major project of livestock breeding and production of powdered milk in the province of Adrar will enter its first phase of production in 2026. Its economic impact on the region and on Algeria is no longer to be demonstrated. As an inhabitant of Adrar, we are very happy to have this project in our province because it will be beneficial for our youth. We hope that other investors around the world will follow the example of Baladna company to come and invest in Algeria, particularly in the south, where there is a lot of space. We as farmers are extremely happy with the implementation of this project here in Adrar.
إن هذا المشروع سيسمح بإنتاج 50% من احتياجات الجزائر من مسحوق الحليب.
This project will produce 50,000 of the national needs in milk powder and the creation of 10,000 temporary jobs for the construction of the base of life and between 5,000 and 7,000 jobs when it's operational. The latest technologies in the sector of agriculture, hydraulics and livestock will be used. Once operational, this plant will gradually produce significant quantities of milk to reach more than 1.5 billion liters in the long term. The Baladna Algeria project is considered a priority in the Algerian government's plan to achieve food security and self-sufficiency. It is a strategic project of international scope because it is considered to be the largest milk powder production project in the world. We have now reached this first phase of implementation thanks to the efforts of Algeria, which has honored its commitments and accelerated the producers for this project to see the light of the day.
نجدد ثقتنا في هذه الشراكة الواعدة التي توطد روابط الإخاء.
We reiterate our confidence in this promising partnership that strengthens the bonds of friendship between our two brotherly countries. We look forward to see it completed. To speed up the construction phase of Baladna Algeria, the local authorities of Adrar province are working to connect agricultural areas to electricity.
In the fight against terrorism, a detachment of the People's National Army recovered during a research operation in Bordbadi Mukhtar in the 6th Military Region 1 Kalashnikov-type submachine gun, 1 Simonov-type semi-automatic rifle and a charger, while other detachments of the People's National Army arrested 5 support elements to terrorist groups during separate operations across the national territory. Regarding the fight against organized crime and drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the PNA intercepted in coordination with the different security services in operations across the military regions 41 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce 3 quintals and 4 kilograms of processed kif from the Moroccan borders, and 181,296 psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamanrasset, Borj Mukhtar, in Salah, in Gizem and Ilizi, PNA detachments arrested 329 individuals and seized 14 vehicles, 400 generators, 283 jackhammers, mixtures of raw gold and stones, in addition to quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 20 other individuals were arrested and nine hunting rifles, 5 automatic pistols, 1 Kalashnikov, and 42,568 liters of fuel were seized. For their part, the border guards thwarted in our national coast attempts of illegal immigration of 272 individuals aboard homemade boats, while 392 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested. And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. I wish you a good night.